Over 180 bodies recovered around Umuchieze cattle market in Abia State, and the Fulani market is about to be closed. This is another breaking news. This is another reason why Simon Ekpa is fighting for Biafra. This is another reason why Simon Ekpa is doing everything possible to see that all this nonsense that is happening in Biafran land will stop. Over 80 bodies Ozumura and Woka chọpụtara na ebe ndị Fulani na-ele cattle in a cattle market. 80 bodies. Egbuenie na nzuzo. And yet, Governor Umahi is busy dealing with Biafrans. This is a big situation. Just pay attention to the news. Governor Alex Oti of Abia State says security intelligence showed that the ransom paid for kidnapped victims were always dropped off around the Chieze cattle market in Lobanta of Umunachi local government area. Payment was made to them. Yeah, Fulani, but the terrorists come into our land and they find out a safe place, a safe haven for themselves. And they begin to do what Nebuchande Umunai. Mr. Oti, during the monthly media parley at the government house, Umuahia said this was discovered after several electronic equipment were installed in different parts of the state. A few weeks ago, we found that a lot of the ransom that was paid for kidnapping ended up somewhere around Umunochi local government. We decided to dominate the place, and what we saw was shocking. In less than 48 hours, we recovered over 80 dead bodies around the cattle market, and we recovered 20 headless bodies, decomposing bodies, which include adults and children. We recovered uncountable skeletons of people who had been killed and left to decompose still around that axis, he said. The governor expressed the resolve of the state government to rid Abia of all forms of crime because no government succeeds in the face of insecurity. He said the government would neither condone nor get involved in supporting insecurity in any form or manner. Mr. Oti also said different forms of crime such as gun running, prostitution, narcotics trade, and heavy use of substance were highly operational in the cattle markets. He said investigations were ongoing to ascertain the people involved in the crime, adding that this informed the decision of the state government to change the cattle market into general market. He said the government had taken a step to secure the market by fencing it and issuing a directive to be a non-residential daily market, which would open from 6 o'clock a.m. through 6 o'clock p.m. Mr. Oti said, in line with the government's directive, the market would no longer be exclusively for selling cattle, but it would operate as a general market where other items would be sold. Now, some persons said that we had sent away the Hausa community living in Abia State. But remember, when we saw the skeleton, we did not know which skeleton belonged to either Hausa or Yoruba. See? And this is it. This is the non-entity that is going on in Biafra land. The governor explained that a meeting was held with the group during which explanations were given about the government's intention. We challenged them that anybody that is not in support of what we are doing must be a criminal. Then they saw reason with us and reversed themselves, he added. This is why PM Simon Ekpa is fighting for a new Biafra. Too much, he's talking too much. But this is it. This is what they have turned Biafra land into. This is what they have turned Biafra land into. People well, decisions must be made and everybody must sit up. Look at them. After committing this atrocity, they will bless them with one government work in Abuja. how Wike went and decided to obuchu ụmụ Igbo niile n'obi Igbo. Mecha gịnị tata ọ FCT minister. So the more Igburu ndị Igbo, the more rank he will have. Yadeba. PM apụtago. O setigo na ọdụgo ka ọ sarụ, ọdụgo ka ọ sado. Yes, Biafran self-referendum has just been concluded in Finland. I told you that Prime Minister Simon Ekpa has a big blow in the faces of the zoo. And can't say we na nke izizi ka ngesi kwe na nke ikpeazụ. Onye mara ebe o si wee sudo ukwu, ya o buru ukwu ọ sudoro. Mana even na-ekwu kịta bụ nke bụ eziokwu na enwere ebe anyị na-eme ife anyị na-eme na anyị kwesịrị ime. Maka na ọtụtụ ife emezugo, ọtụtụ ife emepego, ọtụtụ ife egosigo. We are now moving to self-referendum. Hey, just within how many days Mazi Simon Ekpa took over? Just within how many days, how many months Simon Ekpa took over? He's doing a great job in Biafran land. See, I want you people to understand one thing, is that there is a big line that has been drawn like this. A very, very big line that if most of us fail to understand how this line was drawn, a lot of mistakes will be made. I don't care how I want to do it, I don't care how I want to twist it, but mistakes will be made and we will get to reconsider some facts that are not well handled. That are just the facts. That's just the truth. Self-referendum, do you know what it means? I told you that he met with the Prime Minister of Russia and now decision has now been made. Decision has now been made because victory must cross our very end and our very side. And that is where we are today. You see, I must applaud our Prime Minister and I will say that everybody is now feeling the heat. Everybody is now feeling the good news. Everybody is now feeling the joy. There's a big joy in Biafran land. And that joy that is in Biafran land must be considered in a wide range. It got to take so much time to be considered. But you see that joy in Biafran land must be considered. And that is where our victory begins from. We cannot take any word for granted and we cannot take any place for granted. But you see, one of the biggest and greatest message here is this. We are now in the zone of considering a lot of things. A lot of big news. A lot of big news is already happening. Onye si na ọ na-emete ọfụma ya o ji eme ka ifu. Ịma ihe nji ekwu ya kịta nwere ama m ka esi wee kọtọ Nnamdi Kanu. Mgbe Nnamdi Kanu na-eme esi ọ na-emete ya ọfụma. Nnamdi Kanu wee mezie Nnamdi Kanu kidnap. I have ụzọ onye ga-emete ya ọfụma. Kịta Simon Ekpa apụtago kwa onye ọ na-eti ọ na-emete ya ọfụma. Aga m egezi ntị n'ihe a na-ekwu. Eziokwu ka m na-agwa unu. Onye ọbụla sị na fa adịghị emete ya ọfụma ya o ji eme ya ka ifo. Go and do it, let's see. Because at this very end, more things will be exposed. Don't worry. We are now gradually moving to that very end where our victory must be considered. It doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter when, just know that the Biafran liberation is already happening. It has been concluded. The Prime Minister of Russia and the Prime Minister of Biafra just concluded the Biafran self-referendum in Finland. And this is one of the biggest news that has been heard for so long in the history of Biafra. And I must tell you that as we continue to move with speed, let's hold that speed and hold it tightly. Because at the end of the day, what matters more is the journey we restore. We must be well focused.